Oceanologists have explored just 5% of our oceans.
This is Deep Lurker reporting back to Fancy Tower. I'm approaching the target. This place is massive. I've never seen anything like this. I'm gonna make my way up.
Gotta climb up through here.
It's a no-go, Fancy Tower. It's a no-go!
I'm going to attempt to survive 300 days in hardcore Minecraft on my survival island. Our tale continues with me, the coffee-fueled genius. Let's go. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy CFG, stranded once again on my survival island. Now, if you guys haven't checked out the rest of the 100 Days series, I definitely recommend it because you're missing out on some juicy stuff. Now, as you know, in our last 100 days, we did pick up that Elytra, so it was time to get off this survival island and go exploring. But first, I need to make a quick repair. Using the sticky phantom membrane, I fused the wings back together and had them fully repaired. So now it was time to head out and explore. I wonder what we'd find. I was hoping to find some civilization. I soared across miles and miles of green, beautiful trees, open fields, animals everywhere, and then came across a mountain that was riddled with coal, so I decided to take advantage of it because I didn't have much coal back on the survival island. After mining up the coal, I decided to climb the snowy mountain for a better view, when then something revealed itself just in the distance. It seemed like some sort of hut, so I flew down. I couldn't believe it. This was Greg's brother, stationed here in a mountainside village to protect the people. It was incredible. I looked at all the chests and found diamonds, obsidian, and plenty of food. This place was a real safe haven. I then spoke to one of the guys in a local tavern, and he said I could stay the night. Wow. Fresh-faced, bright-eyed, and well-rested, I was ready for another day on this hardcore journey. I decided to explore the rest of the village. After exploring the village, I had a genius idea. I thought if I bring back a lectern, I could then attain that Book of Mending to allow me to use my tools infinitely. I flew over land and overseas as quick as possible to make it back to my survival island. I then crafted a lectern to take back to the mountainside village. I also needed to repair my Elytra because without that, well, we're in big trouble. Feeling extremely determined, I headed back to the mountainside village, lectern in hand, in an attempt to attain that enchanted Book of Mending. Now, with a couple of attempts, I did finally get there, and the villager rewarded me with the special book. I couldn't waste any time, and I didn't want the villager running off with the Book of Mending, so I built a hut around him for efficiency. He did put up a bit of a protest, but he ain't going anywhere. I didn't have the Book of Mending just yet because I couldn't afford it, so I headed back home, got some rest because I'd have to do a lot of sugarcane growing. The next day, I farmed up as much sugarcane as I could to make paper. If I could sell that paper for emeralds, I'd be able to buy multiple books, but I just didn't have enough. So, I just have to wait for the sugarcanes to grow. I didn't waste any time though. I decided while waiting for the sugarcanes to grow to head into my strip mine. Now, you probably already know this from my previous 100 days, but you know how much I love the sound of that twinkly, twinkly XP. I headed into my strip mine and found some more diamonds, which kind of bugged me a little bit because in my last 100 days, I spent so much time trying to find diamonds, and look, within minutes, I found some. Are you serious? Anyways, I continued mining in my strip mine and then stumbled across even more diamonds, but this time it was quite a large vein. Woohoo! There was no way I was mining all these diamonds without fortune on my pickaxe. The next day was here, so I decided to head back up onto my survival island to enchant my pickaxe. Now, I did use the diamonds I'd find to make another diamond pickaxe, which then I would hope to get fortune on. This story just gets better and better. I got fortune 3 straight away. I couldn't believe my luck. So, I had to take advantage, head straight back into that strip mine, and mine those diamonds. I mined those bad boys up, headed back through my strip mine to see how many I'd collected. 20 diamonds. Let's go! I then found a few more because, well, once you get the bug, you can't stop mining. Another chapter in our 300 days journey. Wow, time to get some rest. Another day, another dollar. It looks like the sugar canes had finally grown, so I farmed them up and made some more paper. It looks like I finally had enough to make enough emeralds. I also farmed up all of my food because I knew I could sell this to a farmer in the mountainside village. I had plenty of wheat, plenty of paper, the chickens were well fed. Looks like the last step was just to get some rest, ready for the next day, because I was gonna go get me some emeralds. Whilst on my way back to the mountainside village, I had stumbled across a pillager tower, but I was in no condition to take it on just yet, so I infiltrated through the top and scouted out who I could see. I blocked off the top using wood, and then decided to see if I could find any loot. Now, the loot wasn't the best, but I know I'd have to come back here because there was no way I could let the mountainside village be eliminated. Now it was time to head back to that village, sell me those resources, and get that Book of Mending. I sold everything I could to the librarian and the farmer. I was making big money moves, but then I realized I'd forgotten books. Ugh. So I'd have to head out during the night time and get some leather. Now, I got pretty lucky, but the horses didn't, and I finally attained myself some leather. Luckily, it wasn't too far from the village, so I quickly flew back and made those books. It was time. I finally attained 2 books of mending. It didn't take long for him to transfer the scriptures over. Wow, some serious progress made. The ocean monument was just around the corner. It was time to put the Book of Mending on my elytra, but first I'd have to make it home, and I didn't have much durability on my elytra, so I just crossed my fingers, hoped for the best, and tried to get to my outpost on the survival island. Yes, I finally made it with barely any durability left, so I decided to make the rest of the trip on the boat. I made it home and applied my Book of Mending to my elytra. Oh, I'm so relieved. Now it was time to get some XP. Using my Silk Touch pickaxe, I had picked up some quartz blocks, so I mined them up and got some XP. I then did a little bit of debating which pickaxe to apply my mending to, but in the end I decided to apply my mending to my Fortune 3 Efficiency 4 pickaxe. Let's go! The ocean monument glowed beneath the watery surface, but I was in no way yet prepared to take it on. So I decided to head to mainland, gather a bunch of resources, because 1, I wanted to put mending to the test, and 2, well, I just wanted a bunch of XP. So I got the resources, and I built a mob farm. The mob farm was now complete. I just added a few finishing touches and then got to work killing the undead, collecting XP and all of the goodies that they dropped. But I wasn't finished yet. I needed to connect it to the island. I was really happy with the final result, but the good mood didn't last long. I was ambushed by a gang of phantoms attacking me from all angles. I quickly restored the house that I had lost. You only get 1 life in hardcore Minecraft, and I wasn't losing it today. I took on the creepers that had started swarming the island, and then also the Enderman that was spying on me. Even phantoms were continuing to fight me from behind. I just wanted this to end. The Enderman's menacing face and dropped jaw continued to intimidate me, but I just continued that eye contact to keep him from attacking me. I kept striking, and eventually, I'd taken out the Enderman. The ambush was over, so now it was time to get back to work. My next step for extending my island was creating a potato farm with the potatoes I had taken from the pillagers. It was time to get to work. Wow, an extremely busy few days. I'd finished off the potato farm and the mob farm, a great extension to my survival island. I just ended the night by making some fireworks and getting some sleep. Progress was being made. I put the potato farm to good use and farmed up all the potatoes I could because I wanted to head back over to the mountainside village to get more books of mending. I didn't forget books this time. I quickly located the farmer and then sold all of my potatoes for enough emeralds to buy enough books of mending for my armor. Look at that, some big progress. I headed home, took out the skeleton, and then continued to enchant my entire armor set with the book of mending. Also, by the way, you know that skeleton dropped a bow with infinity on it? Do you know how rare that is? That's crazy. So I combined it with my current bow to get one of the best bows you could ask for. That's insane. But then this happened. A zombie villager riddled with disease had spawned on my island. I had to act quickly. I tried to get him back to the survival island, but I just couldn't do it. He was too enraged. So I built him a shelter, headed to mainland to grab some brown mushrooms, because they are the vital ingredient to make the potion of weakness. I would combine this with a golden apple and hope that this would cure the villager of the zombie disease. Let's hope this works. The potion began to work. The zombie's skin crackled and I could see the infection letting off. I think this was going to work, so I just had to wait patiently in hopes that the infection would be eradicated. It worked! We had cured the villager of the zombie infection. I had to act quickly. I stuck him in a boat and headed back to my island to build him a small home in which I would then gift him with a lectern. And in return, he gifted me with a book of mending for just 1 emerald. And if you've caught on, I love the Book of Mending. I was so happy. So I applied mending to all my tools. The next step was to get full netherite armor, but first, a house for the villager. The house was complete. It was a little library for my very happy friend. Look at the smile on his face. I added a little bit of storage in there for him, stuck some iron doors on that bad boy, and took a look at the progress made so far. That ocean monument was just around the corner. But first, I wanted to head into the nether to get full netherite armor, so I made myself some gold boots and headed in. Heading into hell, you have to keep your wits about you at all times. I took on the foes that surrounded my spawn and then headed in to my nether strip mine. I was hungry for that ancient debris. I managed to pick myself up some nether quartz on the way, but nothing would stop me, so I got to work. The pickaxe wasn't working out, so I brought the big guns to town. The TNT explosions obliterated the depths of the nether. Not one piece of netherrack could stand a chance. I got to work scouting out for ancient debris that had been revealed by the explosions, but there just wasn't enough. So I headed back to get some more TNT because it was working great. I headed back and found some more ancient debris, then smothered the nether in more TNT. I was finding ancient debris left, right, and center. Now my only goal is to survive the trip back. I finally made it home. Shulker box filled with ancient debris. It was time to make that full set of netherite armor. Cover me in debris. Look at that. We made it. It was time for the next step. The pillager fight. I knew that pillager tower I found earlier wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, and I had to protect the mountainside village, so I got some rest ready for battle. It was time. I glided over the ocean monument and made my way to the pillager tower. The sun began to set, so I decided to set up camp and scout out for the night. Tomorrow wasn't going to be easy. Sunrise. It was time to take on the pillager tower. I spotted the leader. I couldn't believe it. This was too easy. Using my infinity bow, I assassinated the captain of the pillagers, gaining voluntary exile from the tower. I had saved the mountainside village. Wow, what an achievement. I headed back to my survival island as soon as possible. But I didn't head back alone. A group of pillager scouts had followed me home to my survival island. I had to do everything in my power to defend myself and the librarian. Another wave of soldiers had stormed my survival island, and with just one life in hardcore Minecraft, I had to calculate my moves intelligently. The pillagers had taken over my enchantment table tower, but with incredible accuracy I took out the pillagers. But my bow shots weren't enough. An evoker had summoned Vexes and even more pillagers to storm the island. I did my best striking them down with my sword, and then had to locate the final enemy. I did it! I defended my survival island! The war was over, but our story was far from. Our next step was to face the ocean monument, but before that, I collected a bunch of resources, because you guessed it, it was time to build a place for the beacon. The build was complete, a place to show off my beautiful beaming beacon. But it wasn't just to show off that trophy, it was a place I could use for plenty of storage because that tiny little storage shack wasn't enough. I decided to add a bit of lanterns, activate resistance on my beacon, and then took a little bit of a tour around what I had built. I filled it with chests, furnaces, and more, a place to store plenty of resources. Some serious progress made, but next was the ocean monument. Preparation for the ocean monument began, filling a bunch of buckets with milk to remove mining fatigue, and then making a bunch of potions such as night vision and water breathing. But then I was thrown a little bit of a curveball because a zombie villager had appeared on my island. I treated him with the exact same cure, and then I gained myself a villager. This guy was extremely happy, so I moved him into his new home with the librarian. Look at us, 2 villagers on our island. It was time for the ocean monument. I made another diamond sword with sharpness and headed out. I was extremely nervous. Taking on an ocean monument is no cakewalk, especially on hardcore Minecraft. I slurped up my potions and then headed in. I was hoping to make a hole in the side of the ocean monument so I could dodge the enemies that swam outside. It was time to head in. I took on these fishy foes that were protecting the Elder Guardians, hiding in the Ocean Temple. Depth Strider on my boots gave me a massive advantage to finding the first Elder Guardian. I took aim and fired my bow. The Elder Guardian's targeted laser beam stood no match against my agility. I struck it with my sword and then took aim with my bow, finally eliminating it. I then roamed the rest of the halls and found the next Elder Guardian. Feeling confident in my moves, I aggressively attacked the Outer Guardian, taking its life. I then roamed the maze-like corridors in the temple and found the next Outer Guardian, hiding up in the top of the temple. My Power 4 bow was devastating, eliminating the Outer Guardian. I then collected some resources and headed out. I didn't want to run out of water breathing, so I'd come back soon. Whew, I'd done it. I'd taken on the Ocean Monument. I sorted out the things I collected into chests and got some rest. Another chapter in our 100 days journey. A villager, a beacon build, full netherite armor, mending on everything. Wow, some serious progress made in 300 days. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. My name's the Coffee Fuel Genius. Peace out.